South Carolina is underwater. And interestingly enough, it wasn't actually the hurricane that did it. It was a giant nor'easter, basically, a giant storm system that has been blowing out of the northeast for about a week and a half. I noticed it because the way that our boat is tied up, when the winds are out of the north or out of the east, it pushes it away from the dock, and Louise and I have to step over this like, oh, it's 3 feet across to get. Or maybe I need to learn how to tie up my boat better. But usually the winds are out of the west. You know, I mean, the Earth rotates east to west, and so the winds come west to east. And anyhow, we had this nor'easter, and there is a pretty broad international consensus that there's actually a reason for this. And I had the article. Can't find it now. But anyhow, over at the, I don't have it. Over at The Guardian, there is an article about how climate change made it worse. Right? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, this is it. Thank you. Thank you, Shano. I had a whole stack here all ready to go, and I had stuck it behind my monitor where it vanished, and then it vanished from my brain. So let me start at the beginning. These are a couple of stories from The Guardian that I found fascinating, and one from CBS. The first is headlined, it's by Adam Gabbett. It's from yesterday's paper. It's the headline, Christian Group Predicts the World Will Be Annihilated on Wednesday. Actually, it's from today. It's Tuesday, the 6th of October. So tomorrow the world is going to end, according to this fellow. Over a week after Blood Moon doomsday forecasts were proven wrong, E-Bible Fellowship leader Chris McCann says, quote, the world will pass away on 7 October. The exact quote is, according to what the Bible is presenting, it does appear that 7 October will be the day that God has spoken of in which the world will pass away. It'll be gone forever, annihilated. Well, okay, if you say so. This guy, by the way, is a follower of the guy who back in 2011 said the world was going to end on a particular date, and it didn't. This was the Family Radio was the name of the show. It was a fellow by the name of Camping, Reverend Camping in 2011. He then died in 2013. The world didn't end, he did. And this new guy has picked up the torch, Chris McCann, and saying the world is going to end. So then we go to South Carolina. This headline from CBS News, South Carolina flooding causing coffins to rise from ground. Uh-oh. Is this a sign that the world is about to end? Well, actually, no. It's a sign of climate change. Here's the headline from The Guardian today, an article by Amanda Holpook in New York. And I defy you to find a headline like this coming out of any newspaper in the United States. I have not seen a headline like this in the New York Times, the LA Times, the Chicago Sun-Times, the Miami Herald. I mean, you name it, the Boston Globe. I have not seen this headline. But this is the British newspaper, The Guardian. The headline is, South Carolina floods, climate change intensified conditions, scientists say. That's the headline. The subhead is once in a 1,000-year storm along coastline, a consequence of the extreme supply of moisture streaming in from Hurricane Joaquin. Amanda Holpook in New York writing, scientists say climate change has exacerbated the effects of a storm blamed for at least 12 deaths in the southeastern U.S. That's the first sentence. It's also the first paragraph. They quote Michael Mann, who's been a guest on this program a number of times and was the science advisor to us when we were doing the video documentaries with Leonardo DiCaprio that you can see over at greenworldrising.org. And Michael Mann, who's the director of the Earth System Science Center at Pennsylvania State University, said, and I quote, this is yet another example, like Sandy or Irene, of weather on steroids. Another case where climate change worsened the effects of an already extreme meteorological event. Right. So South Carolina is flooding. South Carolina is Nikki Haley, who denies climate change, is begging the federal government for money We want to declare a state of emergency. We want to get that money that Chris Christie got when Sandy hit. And interestingly, if you look at the South Carolina congressional delegation, the 4 of their congressmen and 2 of their senators, they only have 2 senators. I don't know how many congressmen they have, but they have Congressman Duncan. He's a Republican from South Carolina. He voted no. This is the graphic, by the way, at the top of DU today. He voted no on disaster relief for New York, New Jersey after Hurricane Sandy. Representative Wilson, Republican from South Carolina, voted no on federal disaster relief for Hurricane Sandy. Representative Trey Gowdy, he of the We Will Take Down Hillary Clinton Benghazi Committee, he voted no on federal disaster relief for New York, New Jersey after Hurricane Sandy. He is a Republican from South Carolina. Representative Mulvaney, Republican from South Carolina, he voted no on federal disaster relief for New York and New Jersey after Hurricane Sandy. Senator Lindsey Graham, who took to the floor of the Senate today to beg for money for South Carolina, had voted no on federal disaster relief for New York and New Jersey. And Senator Scott, the Republican from South Carolina, voted no on federal disaster relief for New York and New Jersey after Hurricane Sandy. So I put the question to you, should South Carolina get disaster relief? I think they should, even if their elected officials behave like fools and asses. I think that should not cause us to punish the citizens of the state. They've already punished themselves pretty badly by electing these people, and and they will continue to, as long as you have billionaires out there promoting the idea that the product that made them billionaires, fossil fuels, are just fine, thank you very much. There's nothing wrong. The world is not warming. It's not anthropogenic. It must be sunspots, And, of course, those billionaires are going to continue doing that because, hey, they want more money. $100 billion is just not enough. Thus, we have this final headline in today's Guardian. Article by Peter Stone in today's newspaper. Again, the British newspaper, The Guardian. Koch network donors have already shelled out $20 million to Republican super PACs. The subhead, several prominent Koch network donors have written checks between $100,000 and $11 million. Somebody wrote an $11 million check to the super PACs of Marco Rubio, Carly Fiorina, Jeb Bush, Ted Cruz, and Scott Walker. This donor network is this group of 200. They refer to them euphemistically as wealthy conservatives. See, this is the whole point of where I said yesterday the word conservative doesn't mean anything anymore, or it has taken on a different meaning. Conservatives used to be people who were like Dwight Eisenhower, or Richard Nixon, or Barry Goldwater, who were in favor of positive societal change. They just felt that it should happen slowly and deliberately. That's the, that is the historic arc of conservatism. William F. Buckley famously said that as a conservative, his job was to stand athwart or astride the arc of history with his hand out, shouting no. Right? In other words, we don't want rapid change. We do want change and positive change, but let's make sure we've got it right before we do it. Whereas liberals want the change more quickly, right? This is the principal demarcation. Well, there's nothing conservative about giving $20 million to super PACs of Republicans so that they will continue to deny climate change. That's not conservative. That's corporatist. It's what Benito Mussolini referred to as fascism. That is what these billionaires are supporting.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And tragically and increasingly, this is what the so-called conservative politicians, both Republican and Democrat, are supporting. It's corporatism.